Huberman, and
he listens to Huberman.
yeah.
I wouldn't mind having him on.
I reckon he'll be good.
What
He's
does he
20.
do?
He's 20.
Yep.
I think, 20 or 19.
Yep.
And he likes to. Bro, he would love to get the opportunity to be on here with you.
I'd do it. Like, one thing is, because I've been snobbed so much, especially by the life gamification community,
Yeah.
I want to just like accept anyone on who wants to, and especially like in terms of the app, in terms of mapping out all the different areas of life that
Yeah.
someone's been through and someone's achieved in. I want to help them set that up.
Yeah.
To help them, but also I just want to. I guess one thing that I don't like about the big podcast is that if they don't have the big guest, they don't determine it to be a good episode. So
Okay.
there's probably like thousands of what you'd call diamonds in the rough, where you've got heaps of people with amazing ideas, but just because they don't have million or so followers, they won't get their ideas spread and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Status.
I want to find those people.
There probably is a lot of diamonds in the rough, you know.
Exactly,
Like, there's
bro.
probably a lot of people.
Exactly.
But yeah, I could definitely. I'll hit him up and I'll let him know. He'll be ecstatic. I think
Yeah, man.
he'll definitely take any
Do
opportunity.
you think he'd drive down to New Plymouth for it?
Man, wait, how long does the drive to New Plymouth?
It's 5 hours.
He probably
it ain't.
would. He'd probably fly over or something.
You
Nah, I'm
reckon?
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nah, we'll see though. We'll see.
What does he do?
So I think he studies.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think he studies. He does these leadership sort of courses or whatever. There's these people that speak in front of him, and he learns a bunch from them about. It's like, I don't know. It's ways to conquer life and that sort of thing. You know.
Hold on. What is his name?
I think his name. I think I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but it's like Shernak or something. Shernak. Or something. Oh no way.
Okay. This dude.
Oh no way.
He already hit me up.
Oh,
But the thing is,
I love you, by
Man
the way.
is-
If you watch this, I love you. Like, promise you. Like,
I don't
yeah.
know if we're gonna put this in, to be honest. Man's trying to get me into his fucking pyramid scheme, bro.
Bro, did he?
Man's
I've met him in person.
yeah.
And he's a real person and everything. I don't
Of
think
course,
he's
he's a real person. But the program that he's doing,
Yeah.
right, with the speaking and all of that, it's just literally screaming pyramid scheme.
Okay.
And he's like trying to desperately get me into.
Man, he
doing that
he
with
tried to
him?
do that to me so many times, and I was like, bro, like,
Exactly.
leave it. Like, I'm not doing it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So you were the same.
Yeah, and I was just like, bro.
Yeah.
I sent him a straight up message. I was like, dude, it sounds like you're in a pyramid scheme. You've got a mentor. He's got a mentor. You
Yeah.
guys are all like trying to recruit people to get into this network, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, if that's the intention, I'm cool to leave the conversation there. Like, that's it. I
Yeah.
appreciate you reaching out, but I am not interested.
Yeah.
And he goes like, what's your definition of a pyramid scheme, dude? I'm like, fuck,
Like,
here
this
we go.
the way he explains stuff sometimes. It's
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
like,
just
it's kind
like-
of like, it's like irritating because it's just like, leave it. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, can't we just have a normal conversation? But it was just like,
No.
yeah, because I remember we met up and because he was like, I'd love to like, because at first he was trying to get me into it, and then I was
Yeah.
like, nah, like I won't do that. And I was like, but I'll be keen to hang out and talk to you and have a chat and sort of just be around someone else that has goals and ambitions just like me. So
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, bro, that'll be me and there. So we met up, we had a coffee and everything, and at the end of the thing, he was like, so what's stopping you from taking the step? And I was like,
Yeah.
what step? And he was like, to like join this thing, I think it'd be really good for you, I think you'll, I think you're very capable of doing something amazing and stuff, and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, look, like, not yet. Why would I say, like, I'm not saying never, but not yet, because gotta start and everything. So yeah, but that's crazy
That's
that he
mad.
that's crazy that I actually
when
met him
you
as
started
well.
talking about it, I was like, hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on.
that's crazy that you actually met him. Well, no, that you know about him too, and he's actually done the same to you. Yeah.
And you know what the thing is? When I was when I went to the beach in New Plymouth the other day, I met this guy who's pretty much trying to do the same thing.
Really?
He's in a pyramid scheme of his own, and he's trying to get me to join too. He's not too pushy about it or anything, but the theme is right. So he's got this mentor who's talking about you know, creating a e-commerce asset that you can retire on after about 5 years. His mentor, that's helping the guy who I met, who's been in the program for about a year, he hasn't even hit that himself.
Yeah.
And so it's like, where is the proof? And even if he had the proof, I'm pretty much working on that e-commerce asset already. That between 5 to 10 years, that's going to generate me the income that I want.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, and then you can do what you actually want to do. I'm like, I kind of already am doing what I want to do, but I just don't have the money yet.
Exactly.
So thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I was pretty curious because like I've seen the talk around pyramid schemes and stuff like that, but I've never actually kind of dived into it, and I'm kind of curious to join in for like the shits.
We should just go in and just like sit down and be like, and just like have a look at everything. They'll get inside information.
Who's actually retired here?
Yeah. Who can I get proof of this?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, what's the final destination in all this? This old guy, like really old grey hair in the corner of the room, like sitting there, like,
I made it.
Yeah.
He's like, he's our mentor.
Yeah, he's our master. That's crazy though. Like, I didn't know that was because I've only met one of them.
That guy.
Yeah. And I thought he was just a normal person, but he might be, but he just might be like. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to say whether it was authentic or whether it was just trying to get me into the pyramid scheme or whatever, you know.
Well, the thing that he kept on saying to me was, "Oh man, this guy, my mentor, is retiring in his 30s.
Yep.
Another guy retiring when he's 26." Keep on talking about that whole thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I was thinking about that, I'll be like, I don't actually want to retire when I'm that age. I don't want to retire at this point. I want to work on what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
I think it's that, I guess, trope of retiring and sitting down on a beach and being like, I've got fuck all to do with my life now. And what is the point of that, dude? Right?
Yeah.
What is the point if this life and if all you do in this life is just earn enough money to live on a beach all day? I don't think we were designed in that way to enjoy that thing. Because you hear about it all the time. The people who end up like that, after about 2 or 3 months, they get sick of it.
Yeah.
Because there's no purpose in that. There's no purpose to just lying on a beach and getting everything brought to you. I just read a book called The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter.
Okay.
And it's all about the trope of the fact that comfort is really robbing us of the human experience that we were, in a way, designed to go towards.
Yeah.
The feeling of things like hunger and discomfort from cold, and the discomfort of not having everything perfect. Probably because we're so wired to look at the negatives of things. And so if everything is perfect, we will still try to dig and look for all the negative things that are still there.
Yep.
And it's taught me, I guess, especially, like, even now, as I try and sit on this chair and try not to, like, lean back into it because I've been getting, like, lower back issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's taught me that every time I try to seek comfort, even though that is a innate human drive, it ends up getting me in a worse place for some reason. But there is also a fine line between that, because I guess it's a difference between comfort and freedom.
Yep.
Freedom and limitation in the fact that if I work so hard towards a goal that's going to earn me more comfort in the future, and I get that comfort, I'll get used to it and then not appreciate it like I do. It made me think about sleeping in my bed last night. And I just realized, like, I've never, until gratitude journaling, but I haven't been doing it that consistently lately, I haven't been thinking about how grateful I am to sleep on such a comfortable bed instead of just, like, on the floor, on the grass, on the rocks or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I don't know.
No, that's crazy, because, like, you never know. Like, we think about all these big aspirations and goals and everything, and we think about the vision of where we want to be at a certain point in our lives, and then you have a thought about that, and you're like, wait, but if I get to that point and you want to relax and everything like that, is it really going to be done there? You know, is there really, when you get to that point, are you really going to be satisfied?
Yeah.
It's like, probably not. You're probably going to be like, hopefully not, you know, you're probably going to be like, oh, what's next?
Totally.
Instead of completely relax on your comfortable, rich sofa or something, you know? And yeah, I actually I wanted to bring up a topic back a little bit.
Let's go.
Sorry.
Let's go.
Because I was thinking an example of, I was thinking about the difference between like people that talk and say what they want to do and say all this stuff, but then the action of actually taking steps towards it. And for certain people probably that you know, and I know as well, that they talk, and they talk a lot. I talk a lot. I'm a talker, like, you know, but I always make sure that my actions add up to my words as well. So I don't think this is going to be in the podcast, but the example, I'm sorry, I had to bring this up. You know how Shanek, he wants to do all the stuff, right? This is definitely not making
Let's
the podcast.
just say we have that friend who...
Yeah, okay. Well, we have that friend who, and you know who that is now, and he just like, they talk about how they want to do this and that and everything, and they want to help maybe inspire the next generation and everything, but they do little stories of just a sentence or something, or they share a video that was made by someone else or something, and it's like, do something then, go out and like create your own content, or like speak from your own mind, say something from your own brain. Don't have the guts to do that, and that's what's really going to inspire someone, is it coming from you and your brain and your heart. So that's what I think, yeah. And also, different subject but along the same lines, when it comes to action, I've been having this thing recently where I've been having a rush of all these different goals and all these different ambitions, and they're from different like areas in my life. And like, I've got the goal of my physique, I've got like trying to gain weight and everything, and I am gaining weight thanks to Camilla. Thank you, Camilla, I appreciate you. And I had a new thought of like trying to start a clothing sort of brand, sort of merch sort of thing, and I'm like brainstorming ideas for that and trying to like dive into that as well. And then I've got my boxing gym that I'm trying to juggle as well, to make sure that is growing slowly and that's going in a direction where I want it to. What's some other things? I want to put videos out where I'm playing guitar and singing, and also collabing with my friends and people that I know can sing as well, or play instruments too, and just do something fun like that as well on social media. I think that will target a different audience too, which will then attract them to some of my speaking videos, hopefully. And also, who knows, I've contemplated going back to boxing and then turning pro at a heavier weight, like, which I don't know if I will, because I don't know if it'll be worth it, but just having all these different thoughts. And I had a conversation with one of my close friends, and he told me, like, he's like, Eden, I think you're going too fast with all this. And I was like, no, I'm not going too fast. Because me personally, I don't think I'll go too fast. I know the thought, I know the thing of like going too fast and thinking that you can do this, and this, and then actually not making any progress in any. But I do believe that, and I want to show my friends that whatever you like, take the action. Like if I want to make like some sort of merch, clothing, shirt, or whatever, then I'm going to do it. And they were like, but how are you going to do it? And I'm like, well, with some help, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to my friends and I was like, hey, can you help me figure out how to make a website, like research it, and just give me a hand with it and all that. And he's like, you want to make a clothing brand? And I was like, yeah, that sort of thing. And he was like, I think that will be a big risk. And I said, well, what risk? And he's like, it's a lot of money involved. And I was like, I don't care about money. I don't care about money. Like I will make a clothing brand just to make a clothing brand and lose money, because it's not what I do it for. I don't do anything for money. And I think that's what gets in the way of people's ambitions and goals and everything. If someone has an ambition or goal to, for my example, it could be anything, to start speaking or to start doing a martial art that they've never done before, or start learning an instrument they've never done before, then just start it. don't wait for anything. Like, what's stopping you? Like I know it's cliche, but just do it. Who cares what anyone thinks? Like, put the money into it. It's not a waste of money. Put the money into it. Get what you wanted. Learn from the mistakes, because yeah, they were like, it's a big risk. You might lose a lot of money. And I'm like, cool. I don't give a damn. Like, that's not what it is. I want the clothing brand. I'll make the clothing brand. I'll figure out how to do it. I'll push harder. If trial and error. And another friend was like, maybe you should plan it out and research before you go ahead. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go full steam ahead. Like, I really will, because like I want to show people that it is possible to be improving in different areas at the same time. And because I know that we have different strategies when it comes to our mindsets of life, how you might really focus on one area and then balance other areas as well. So I know that, but in my brain, I'm trying to figure out a way and how I can improve at a fast rate.
Yeah.
Not that I care about speed or anything, but I just care about pushing and trying and
getting the feedback, getting the progression.
Exactly, getting the progression, because like that was like the same thing when I started the speaking videos. It's like people will sit there for hours, weeks, months, being like, oh, I want to put a video out, but I might just brainstorm a bit before I do it. And they start brainstorming and they start writing stuff, and then they never actually start doing the video. You know, they do all the thinking and everything, but they never do it. I'm like, just push record. What's that?
You're calling me out like 3 to 5 years ago. That was all me. I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love this idea, but I want to plan everything. My trait and trade-off is the fact that I don't like doing anything without meticulously planning it through.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works to my advantage when I make really good frameworks based on it.
Yeah.
Most of the time it doesn't. I think that's why I attract and probably surround myself with people who are action first oriented, because I need that energy in my life, especially.
You're like, give it to me.
Yeah. Like, I need that shit. I need that shit.
Yeah.
Because I think having a fail first mentality means that this is the trope. I think you'd love the book, The 33 Laws of Business and Life by Stephen Bartlett. And he goes on the trope of fail first and you will get ahead of everyone else, because everyone's trying to avoid the pitfalls and the landmines of failure. But until you learn where they are and what they are, you're always going to be tiptoeing around and you have no idea what to do. So for me, I guess that has been doing just screwing around with my app for so long.
Yeah.
Only in my own bubble, because I realized to a point, my brother-in-law was helping me with this, is that I didn't want to release it because I didn't want anyone to say, oh, you got this wrong, you got this wrong, you got this wrong. But then it came to a point where, like, actually, I need to hear that. Like, I feel like this is really good. But now I'm at the point where, like, okay, sure, if I think it's good, whatever, but I'm trying to make something to sell. I need to hear what's good and what's not, so I can improve it to be a better product for people rather than just myself.
Yeah.
Because I know it can help myself, but now I want to help other people with it as well.
Yeah.
So I've needed to hear that feedback, and that's why the reason why I was laughing the whole time was like, bro, you're calling me out, man, and I feel it. I feel it inside.
Yeah.
And that tells me that's the thing I need to focus on. Because, again, on your point of balance in terms of life, that's actually something I've been wondering about, especially with the point of time I'm at now, where I've released the free version of the app, but I need to really work on the full version, because I've got a client who wants to buy it off me at this point. But I know in my head, I already know in my head, I'm like, oh, but I could do so much more and so much more work on it and just keep on pushing the deadline past, but I just need to get it out there. And I feel like I just need to listen to you, bro.
Well,
not gonna lie.
There will be a point in time where the seats will be swapped and I'll have to listen to your way of thinking, because I know that time will come where I'll have to slow everything down and then actually have to process things and be more careful with my steps.
Mm.
But right now, I don't think I have to be careful. Like, I'm really at the beginning of everything, and I don't believe, like, I've sort of had this mindset. It's quite, what's the word? It's quite disregarding of other people's opinions. But when my closest friends, I really listen and I hear them. But when they give me advice, I sort of take it almost with a grain of salt, because I'm like, I really have. Like I said, like we've already talked about. I'd rather make the mistakes.
Yeah.
I'd rather make the mistakes and then trial and error and then try again, because I know I won't give up, and I know I will keep pushing. So I'm not afraid of the failure part. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm not afraid to, which is good. Like when you get comments and everything like that that say, oh, you messed up here, or you say and I every sentence, or there'll be more, but then there'll be people that will say, I really needed that video, and you almost didn't post that video. Like, you know, like there's a video that someone needs that you almost didn't post because you didn't think it was perfect enough. And those are the sort of things where I'm trying to show my friends that just do it. Just please, just take a step. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
how
man. I feel the fighter in you coming out when you say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it like ties beautifully just to the idea that, you know, we become these people from the work that we do. One of my favorites from Alex Hormozy, there's so many, but
yeah,
the work works on you more than you work on it, meaning that whenever you give yourself an endeavor, whenever you give yourself a challenge, it's not about just completing the challenge, it's about what that challenge turns you into, especially. So again, in the book, what was it? The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter, he talks about this idea of the misogi, which is a Japanese tradition in which you do something extremely hard. I'm not sure about the period of time, but for him, it's every year. You do an extremely hard challenge that you think that you would fail. For me, I guess I'm still being a little bitch because I don't think I would fail it, but for me, it's climbing Mount Taranaki. I've never done like a massive mountain climb or that before. But I think before probably 6 months ago, especially when a lot of good things were happening, I still felt a state of unhappiness, I guess, just a mild unhappiness. And I realized it was because I wasn't even challenging myself enough. And that really brought out, I guess, the idea of life design and the fact that when we have our parents looking after us in our childhood, they're so wise and so much older than us and have so much experience that they understand what is going to be a challenge for us that we can tackle and what is going to be a challenge that we can't tackle. And they perfectly, in a way, design our lives to go on that flow channel. And to go on that channel of, even if we feel ourselves inside as children that we can't do a task, our parents believe in us so much that they are willing to be there for us to be the cushion that we land on when we fail. And that's exactly what I've been thinking about in terms of the parent-child relationship we have with ourselves, and the fact that whenever we get to a challenge that we're really scared of, that we're internally really scared of, thinking as if our subconscious mind is the child that doesn't have the confidence to do this. And it's the term of faking it till you make it, which is you as your conscious mind literally have to convince your subconscious mind that you are going to do this no matter what. And your subconscious mind will bite away at you and tell you, actually, there's no way you can do this. Actually, this is a way that we can dip out of this challenge. This is how we're going to get out of it. We don't need to do this. Why are we doing this? Because they're scared.
Yeah.
And I realized the role of the parent in that situation, the role of our conscious mind, is to console that child, is to console the subconscious mind and be like, either way, if we fail this, we're not going to die. Because I think that's where that fear stems from in children, but also in our subconscious mind. When we go for a wild challenge, for me, it was public speaking. For me, I can feel it in my chest whenever I just bring up the topic and imagine doing it. But I forced myself to do it, and it was excruciating, and I made mistakes. And I felt like such an idiot, but it really showed me the fact that I can console my subconscious mind and not have to be dictated by its thoughts, even though that is a daily battle. Because I think something that's going to come up from this idea of the parent-child relationship and the fact that we have the subconscious mind of a child and the conscious will of a parent is that we're not going to be perfect parents for our children ever, because there is no perfect child and there is no perfect parent. But I think the whole idea of taking total responsibility for yourself in the eyes of Jocko Willink and David Goggins and all those kind of people is that they have that mantra of viciously controlling their inner thoughts to such a degree, whereas I think most people like myself are probably going to struggle with that. And we need to know that there are going to be days where you probably screw up as a parent and it's still on you, but there's no point beating yourself up about it. And the fact that there's that whole trope of it takes a village to raise a child. And because, like we were discussing before, I have a trait where I want to rely on frameworks and planning, where you have a action first orientation. Eventually, for both of us, in both ends of the spectrum, that's going to fail us at some point.
Yeah.
And so we can't actually console ourselves. And that's why we need to have a network of friends, a community that can help us with the different affinities that we find in our lives. Because I think if I surrounded myself with more people like myself, it would be 10 times worse. I would not get anything done.
You guys would all jump into a room. Like,
bro, we just had...
Alright, let's plan this out together.
No. I'll be like, we need to plan this plan that we're planning.
Yeah.
I would legit.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then I'd see you looking on the side like, look at these fools.
We out here like running like David Goggins, like, we're doing it right now. Like, we out here running. You in here planning how to run. You planning the route. Where to go. We out here running. Yeah. I think
That's hilarious.
that's why, like, even with this and stuff, I like to just do it. Like, I like to just do it.
Yeah.
I don't like planning, because that was exactly how it was. Like,
At the start of this podcast, I was like, wait, we need to plan something.
That was exact example. Even if you videoed it or whatever, that'd be a funny, like you just personally, like, we can look back at it and be like, that's a funny example of exactly how we
literally.
think. Yeah.
Literally.
I was like, yeah, we can just freestyle it, and you were just
I'm
like, we should have something planned. We should have something planned. Yeah, but.
But you influenced me. You were like, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try and go for it. I'm just gonna try and go for it.
Yeah.
And it's worked out so far. I'm pretty sure.
So far, I think so.
I think so.
But that's a big thing from me is the action part. I get so annoyed with people. At the moment, I have been just witnessing people that can do something or has the skills to be good at something, and they just like not doing it or something, or they're not putting themselves forward to potentially start it as a moneymaker and to get them some extra money in the bank at the end of the week. Even if it's because what I also said to my friends, to my people, is that it doesn't matter if you make $10 a week from the passion that you like doing or the skill that you're good at or whatever. I think if you're capable of making $10 a week, you're capable of making $100 a week, you're capable of making $1,000 a week, the amount now doesn't matter. It matters that you sort of practice it and repetition and get the sort of armor up where you can take criticism and you can take someone telling you that you're not good at something. Because if you believe you're good at something, then it doesn't matter what anyone else says. So it's just one of those things. It's just I hope you take a lot of action. You'll like, cause I think cause you're very smart and you're very, very. That video, I watched your video.
Yeah.
I watched your video.
The most recent one.
Yes, the most recent one. I was so proud of you. That was fucking amazing.
Thank you,
I liked it. I was watching it with Camilla.
Oh, cool.
And I was I was like, did you see his video? She's like, no. And I was like,
you guys were watching it in the gym or something?
Yeah, we were watching it. I was like, watch,
Oh, no
right?
way.
Watch. And then she was like, it's kind of long, and I was like, watch the whole thing, all right? We can watch the whole thing because we got halfway, because yeah, she was getting distracted by customers and stuff like that. So yeah. But it was just, I was like, I was watching it, and I was just like admiring the fact, I was like, how much effort and work you put into it, and
that's
so
the
good.
planning mindset,
That's the
bro.
planning mindset. That's what it gets you, you know. Like, so that's yeah, the benefit of that kind of thinking.
But again, I'll contrast that, because actually, even though I'm extremely proud of what I made, it didn't do so well compared to people who put in like a quarter of the effort. So there's some other channels that I'm following at the moment that are blowing up. There's the tags in the description of a YouTube video. There's the title and all that stuff. Very important, apparently, from what I learned from Ali Abdul's YouTube course. There's a guy who found a niche where it's the counterculture of retention editing, which is the kind of style of editing that I learned, which is you really engage the viewer in terms of visual pacing, emotional pacing, and things like that. What this guy has done is done the counterculture of that, where he's overlaying, he's telling a very simple message, like the same self-development message you've heard over and over again, right? He's saying it, overlaying it with like 90s themed anime B-roll and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's just taken off, bro. I'm like, huh?
And you're like,
and I'm like, and I like
first-
spent 3 months on this video, and it
Yeah.
got like 200 views in the first 24 hours. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey.
yeah.
So the first thing that happened was I got extremely jealous.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I got really jealous and upset, because I've seen videos that I really love that have that same editing style, that have that same kind of message, really do well. And I guess I failed myself because the expectation of what I set for myself is like, this video is gonna blow up, it's gonna go viral, I'm gonna be able to help so many people with it. And when I saw it tank, yeah, I literally set myself up to fail, because I set such a high bar that if anything else happened, then I'm instantly going to be unhappy. And I had to learn it the hard way. I felt like shit, bro. I felt like shit.
Yeah.
And I guess now that I realize, one thing kept on popping up in my mind after I had dealt with being so upset, just staring at the bro, honestly, like going to the page
like,
every minute and being like, why the fuck are the
You're like
views
refreshing.
coming out?
You're like,
I was doing that,
you came back in like 20 minutes later. You're like, okay, all right.
bro. 1 minute. Anyways,
Yeah.
what kept on popping up in my mind is that at the moment I have to develop the full version of live game design, and if it blew up, I would still have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Either way. And I was like, fuck. But I was sitting at my computer the whole day, you know, inside, and not really doing much with my body. So my mind was stewing. So I decided, you know what? I just need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
I just need to go to the gym and just like deflate this whole thing. And so, yeah, I popped on my headphones, went down to the gym. And then what happened, I was like putting my bag and stuff into the locker to get ready to go out for the gym. And I just hear this like whistling. I've got my headphones on. I just hear this like that. I'm just like, what the fuck is... And I turn around, it's this kid in the changing room. He's like, bro, are you on Tren? Do you know what Tren is? It's like I don't know if it's...
Is it a drug?
Actually a steroid, but yeah, it's like the synthetic cannabis of testosterone.
Okay.
I think that's a good analogy. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of vibe. And he asked me because he's like, oh, dude, your back looks like this guy who I know who's on Trend. I'm like, what the fuck are you? I mean, I guess I took that as a compliment.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, bro, I'm not on any gear or anything. I wouldn't. He's like, you sure? I'm like, bro, I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
I know there's these guys lying out
I
here.
wouldn't do that to you.
And also, if I was, I would want to be like 10 times bigger than I am now.
Yeah. You're like, is this what I get from having Trend? You're like, is this all? Like, what the? Yeah.
And that's it, exactly. And I was like, fuck, that kid actually made my day. And we're going into... I invited him to climb up Taranaki soon.
Nice.
But it just got me it just got me so out of my head of the fact that like, I wanted this video to do so well and it's not, like, boo fucking who. Now I almost see it like that. But at the same time, it did mean so much to me
Yeah.
that it did go well, but it doesn't have to blow up now. It can blow up later.
Yeah.
Or the next one, or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But it did really level me up in terms of, like, how I edit and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it just made me realize the whole mantra of what Alex Hormozy said is that the work works on you more than you work on it. And the hardest thing is that there's all these quotes and pockets of wisdom that we can look up to. What makes it harder is that if you don't have the results to match it, you just feel like you're delusional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the struggle I feel. Do you feel that? I feel like you have such a unwavering aura of confidence that you're okay with being delusional.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will, like, the faking it till you make it thing is past the point now. It's kind of like, it's kind of my
Make
identity.
it till I make it.
Yeah, make it till I make it. It's an identity, like, I wouldn't say crisis. I would say identity blessing or whatever. Like, it's just sort of like a thing where, yeah, I believe that I'm here for a reason. I believe 100% that I'm meant to do something amazing and great. It might not be speaking, but as far as I know, I think that I can speak well, and I think that I can flow nicely when it comes to my thoughts. And I think the confidence that I have, because, like, someone was like, have you ever done any public speaking yet? And I was like, no. I haven't. And I avoided every single speech thing that I could in school. I never did a speech in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like,
Wait, aren't they like obligatory? Don't you have to do them?
you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. Not maybe it wasn't have to for
maybe not for you, because I remember I really didn't want to do it and I still had to do it. And I was like, oof.
Well, good that you did it. I did it. I bitched out. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, so yeah, I avoided it. And then fast forward when I'm out of high school and everything like that, and I figure out that I love talking to people and I love getting to know people and learning about people's brains and everything like that. And I just love improvement. I love discussing things. I love, just trying to figure out ways to, get better and improve. So I think that, because I do believe, though, I said it to someone that I knew, and I said, but I do think that when I do go up in public speak, I'm not going to be perfect, but I do think eventually I'm going to be up there and I'm going to be like, yes, I belong here. Like, I don't think it would be the identity thing. I think my brain will believe that I belong on stage, that I believe that I'm that guy. And that's sort of like, and I don't believe I'm that guy. I'm not that guy. The thing is that I'm in the pursuit to chasing that person that I want to be. It's the will be, and it always is a will be. It's not a I am. I think it's just the fact that since I am chasing it, or since I am in the pursuit of it, that's what gives me the confidence. Is that in the pursuit, that's why I'm confident.
Damn.
You know, so that's how I think about it.
That actually really reminded me of when I was looking into the whole parent-child relationship thing. I wanted a symbolism to really unify what it meant.
Yeah.
And I found that in yin and yang. And so I'll probably like put up a diagram on the video, because I really love this whole concept of the fact that we have the subconscious mind of a child and the conscious will of a parent. So it's like the black in the yin and yang and the white, right? So the black is our subconscious mind and the white is our conscious will. And so I thought about the idea of the flow state, and the flow state is where you kind of lose your sense of self, where you stop. You don't really have that internal chatter anymore. It kind of, they work in such harmony that it flatlines, basically. This is where I got into the idea of the whole, the gym bros who lift to get like the demons out of their head kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's because a point that came up in a book called That Little Voice in Your Head by Mo Gaudat. And he basically said that when the voice in your head is trying to speak, it cannot think. And when the voice in your head is trying to think, it cannot speak. For example, he put this experiment out in the book, and it says, I want you to... there's a whole bunch of letters on this page, and I want you to figure out what all of these letters could spell while thinking of a really unhappy thought. And you're only allowed to do it while... you're only allowed to solve the problem while you think of being extremely unhappy. And you quickly find out that it's literally impossible. As soon as you're trying to think about solving the problem, you can't think about being unhappy.
Yeah.
And so it's almost serves as a distraction for your subconscious mind, for the child in you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're telling him to do this really hard math puzzle while being really upset, and it just doesn't work. And so the symbolism of yin and yang is that when we're in the flow state, when we're doing anything extremely intentionally and with intense focus, it's like a parent and child working together. They are in sync. They know exactly what they need to do together. And so another expression from Lao Tzu is that if you are depressed, you are living in the past. And if you are anxious, you are living in the future. And if you are at peace, you are living in the present. And so again, it ties in that idea of mindfulness. What I understand mindfulness now to really be is sitting down with your thoughts. And your thoughts, not just being this bubbly soup of things that appear, it's the thoughts of your subconscious mind, of your inner child, of the experiences, traumas, ideas, inspiration that they have, and listening to them. Because you know the whole thing with like shower thoughts?
Yes. Yeah.
And how I guess it was like classed as a phenomenon, and it still is. But it's literally the chatter. It literally manifests as like the chatter of a 2-year-old kid. Now you think about the thoughts that you come up in the shower and you're like, where the fuck did they come from, right?
Yeah.
And to think, there's been so many times where I've thought, how did I think of that? Is that really me? Did I just think that? Right? But these are things that if you were a kid, you would have just said them out loud without thinking at all.
Yeah.
And because this is another... I'm tying all these books together.
Yeah.
There's another idea from a book, Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. And he explains that the feeling mind develops far significantly earlier than the thinking mind. And that's exactly the stage that we're at when we're children, is that all we can do is feel what we feel and react to our environment until we develop our neocortex, which lets us have higher order thinking of consequences in the future and effects of the past. Whereas children just live for the present. Like, the earlier they are and the less outside influence they have, the more they just express themselves. And I think that's why we're so innately inspired by children. They have no filter. And in a way, it's like our subconscious being, and I explain this by the fact that whenever you pet a dog or whenever you're like talking to a little baby, this little this Gucci voice comes out, right?
Yeah.
And who is that? I'm not like that 24/7. That is like the embodiment of my inner child communicating with their present inner innocence, you know?
Yeah.
And so bringing it back to the whole diagram and analogy of yin and yang is that it works like this. And so in the middle is the flow state, right? So if you imagine this is like the black side of the yin, and this is like the white side, right? And so in the middle, it's a pure white and a pure black, the present moment. As you go past, it's like a gradient, and it becomes gray on either side. So right, you got a bright white here, and it ends up being gray. And then you've got a pure black here, and it ends up being gray as well. And that kind of represents a time continuum of the past. And the fact that your earliest memories are so fuzzy and grey that you cannot remember unless it's a very core event, a very core memory that dictates the value that you have. Everything apart from that, everything is so fuzzy and grey that it pretty much doesn't matter. It won't serve you in this point. And the same thing is with our future. The bright white represents the best version of ourselves that we could possibly be in this moment, whereas we don't know what that looks like in the future. That's, again, just all fuzzy and grey. And so what I really appreciate about your whole mindset of action first is that you're being totally present in the moment, because you're not worrying about the past. You're not worrying about the future. You're doing exactly what the best version of you can be right now. And when you were talking about, the fact that you have unwavering confidence is the fact that you are convincing yourself that you are that guy. And that's exactly what I see in the relationship that you'd have with yourself, and the fact that, sure, maybe on a lower level, you have doubt and insecurity, but you're showing up as a quote-unquote parent for your subconscious mind to never let that dictate what you do.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's kind of what happens? Because I was going to ask you, like, do you not feel doubt?
Do I not feel doubt? I think I'm very lucky in the fact that I don't... If I'm in control of what I can do, and I try to do the best that I can, because I do put a lot of pressure on myself, and I do put a lot of weight on my shoulders myself, and then I have a father that puts a lot of puts weight on my shoulders as well when I am around him, and that's like a double weight. That's a whole ass like truck and house and everything on the, as if it's on my shoulders. So I do it to myself, but I sort of had the thought of like, what's there to doubt? I can take the steps I want to take. I can move how I want to move. I can decide to do things however I want to do things, and everything is completely up to me. For someone, if someone was to doubt themselves, what are you doubting yourself for? If you want to take the smallest step possible, take the smallest step possible.
What if I fail?
What if you fail taking the smallest step possible? Like, I
think we need to have that conversation with ourselves sometimes, right?
Yeah. Definitely. It's definitely like a thing to think about. But then don't take the step. But just know it's completely up to you. It's completely up to the individual. There's nothing to be doubt. There's nothing to feel anxious about. Don't take the step. Stay there. That's up to you. But you feeling anxious for the fact that it's a decision that you have to make. It's completely up to you whether you take that jump, or you go through the fire, or you take the risk of failing, or feeling embarrassed, or anything like that. That's up to you. Yeah. So what is there to feel anxious for? You control every single pace you're at. You can go faster at the rate you're progressing at something. You can slow down the rate. You can not make any progress at all. It's completely up to you. So what is there to doubt? That's how I think about it. But that's just me though. I don't
how other people think about me when I fail in front of them, and how stupid it will look.
It'll be stupid to like. This is because I think it's about when you're going through the trials and tribulations of any journey. I think it's about asking the right questions. So ask yourself the right question. So the first question that usually pops to your head is, what is it going to be like when I fail in front of everyone? What are they going to think? That's the first question that usually pops up. It's a generic question. But then change the question. What, something like, okay, so, it could be something just a positive way, but it's like, but what if I inspire someone? What if I inspire one person? It could be just like you can minimalize the goal of, what if I just make one person smile in the crowd? You say one of your jokes or whatever, no one laughs at all except for one person. You're like, got it.
Got him.
Yeah, got it. Like that's, I think it's about the question you ask yourself. Like, and that's where you have to control the parent in you is when the kid says, no, what if I fail? When you say, well, what if you succeed? And all that sort of stuff. Like, it's, that's what I've been doing recently. And when I've been hesitant to post a video, I'm like, oh, what if I didn't explain it right?
Oh, is that the
Like,
thoughts that come up? When
yeah,
you,
yeah. What if? Oh, but what if they don't agree with what I say?
Mm.
And I just said, like, I was like, no, Eden, what is your truth? What do you believe to be true? Because at the point, I'm speaking what I think is true. It's not about whether I'm right or wrong. We will see if I'm right or wrong as the journey goes along. People can witness and see what's happening as I get older, and they can see whether I'm right or wrong, because there's only one thing to see. And if I get to where I want to get to, then it's like, oh, I guess I wasn't wrong. But at the same time, it's like, you shouldn't be afraid to take those steps, because it's your journey, it's your pace, it's your steps, and you take them however you want to. You don't have to copy everyone else. You don't have to, like, the way I think about it, like we've already talked about it last time, like I never drank alcohol because I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be different. You don't have to do things like everyone else. And I wanted to talk about also, I thought about something when you were explaining how devastated you were with how
shit the video was.
well,
how shit it did.
No,
I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you, bro.
No,
Don't worry about it.
I'm not saying that. Like I said, I'm proud of you, and I think that video was good. That was great. So, with how disappointed you were with how the video turned out.
Yeah.
And then you started comparing to the other people that were blowing up and stuff. And I say, like, fuck all the other people that are doing it. You know what I mean? Like, who cares how they did it? Who cares how they do it? You do it how you want to do it. If you want to, which I don't recommend, but if you want to spend 3 months making a video and trying to perfect it and then release it, do it like that if you want to. But the reason why I think the way you would get big and how I would get big is that we're individualized and we don't really listen to what everyone else is doing. That's what makes people blow up. Is the fact that they don't listen to anyone else and they do whatever they want to do, and they don't care about, oh no, that's not how you should do it. It's the algorithm, and the algorithm thinks you should make shorter videos because people have shorter attention spans.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. You see people out there making longer videos and it does well. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about that. It's about doing what you want to do. So that's what I had to say about that. That thought came to my head when you were talking about that. And I just say, like, you keep going how you want to keep moving. Like, you move how you move. You walk how you walk. And I think that's with everybody. You do it how you want to do it, and that's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, do you want to be them or do you want to be you? Because, like, your content is not their content, you know?
That's true.
So, yeah, that's what I had to say about that.
I appreciate that. I needed to hear that, bro. I actually needed
that's
to
all
hear
good.
that.
So, like, so just, if you want to keep making videos like that, make videos like that. It's not about whether they do well or not do well. That's how you want to pursue the goal. That's how you want to take the steps.
Yeah.
But if you want to switch it up and you want to take a shorter time to do it, or you want to crank more videos out and stuff like that, then do that. But that's completely up to you. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Like, you know, because those are your videos. That's your content, you know?
You know what I was thinking the whole time? You're going to be an amazing parent, dude.
Thank you.
I can see. I can see.
Thank you.
I feel like a kid right now, like, literally. And I imagine, like, if I was your kid, like, fuck, that would inspire me so much. Because it shows an unwavering doubt. Not in my talent, not in my ability to produce videos, but for me to truly express myself how I want to express myself. That is probably the biggest barrier that I face when it comes to being real with anyone and on any platform, especially. I feel like if it's the kid within me. It's the kid within me thinking, and my conscious will not being able to console the child who is thinking, oh, what if this doesn't do well? It's hard to manage that inner voice if I haven't trained it to do these things. And I think what you were telling me about the fact that it's an action-first orientation, you decide what you want to do, regardless of the consequences, right? I'm thinking, why do I have that mentality that you have, but only in video games? So in video games and shit, right, I don't give a fuck what happens, man. I will do whatever the fuck I want. And it's because I'm so fearless, and I feel like, man, why can't I do this in real life? So in the video game, something like a game like Skyrim or any video game with NPCs, you're like go up and talk to everyone because you want to find out more stuff. I would struggle with that in real life. It's just like going
Yeah,
up
yeah.
to like 20 people in a row and be like, hi, what are you like?
Yeah, yeah. You'd feel awkward. You'd be like, why am I doing this right now? I forgot what the purpose of the speaking was. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But I think also, I don't think there's an actual way for me to go from like being an insane extrovert in a video game to actually being like that in real life. But the way that video games teach us is that they force us, what you were talking about before, especially in terms of taking that one step, because how could you fail that one step? That whole mentality, especially in tutorial levels of video games, they will force you, they will strip away every other action or movement you can do and just limit you to the basics. In God of War 2018, I think in the first level, all you can do is move around your character and look around.
Yeah.
You're not able to punch anything. You're not able to like jump. I mean, you can't really jump in the game anyway, but
You're
the game
limited.
designer
Yeah.
has extremely limited what you're capable of doing
Mm-hmm.
for the purpose of teaching you something. And I think that's that whole principle of essentialism as well. And the fact that if you're going to tell yourself that that you have an infinite potential and that you can do all these things, then you're telling yourself also that you can fail at all these things too. And so it's about setting the intention of, actually, I want to focus on, like you said in public speaking, making that one person smile instead of trying to win over the whole crowd.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when it comes to that point of insecurity, when you're dealing with a subconscious aspect of you that's going to dictate your actions. Because I feel in all of us, we subconsciously, when we act quote unquote bad, it's because of an insecurity that we've had within our childhood that we're not comfortable consoling. And I think about it in the fact that, imagine if a parent, whenever a child had a problem, they would just literally ignore them and leave them by themselves. That child would do a whole bunch of extravagant things to be able to cope with being left alone with those thoughts because they can't rely on their parent. And I feel like it's exactly the same when we can't think of our subconscious thoughts and give space for our subconscious thoughts in our conscious minds. That's the whole point of like meditation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why myself and a lot of people find things like scrolling on Instagram to be that way, that the subconscious mind learns to deal with things like boredom, learns to deal with things like being uncomfortable. Because what I found after reading the book Attached by Dan Levine, I believe,
Yeah.
is that I have an anxious attachment style where subconsciously, if I do not get reciprocated in things like messages, I will feel like this intense anxiousness as if I am going to be abandoned.
Yeah.
When I say it literally, it sounds stupid, but this is not a conscious thought I have. It's a subconscious action that plays out in things like, yeah, scrolling through Instagram and be like, are they going to message back? Yeah, are they going to do this? And it's half what happens in life and half what is expressed in your genes, basically.
Yeah.
In the book, he explains that there are different types of attachment styles, and there are people who are more avoidant and people who are more attached, and it's basically a mechanism to help the survival of tribes. If you were in tribal warfare and you were extremely attached to your partner and you were very anxious about where they were going and things like that, that means you'd probably keep them safe. At the same time, if you had someone who was very avoidant and they didn't like that close connection, it would make sense if there were people around you, close people around you, dying all the time, so that you wouldn't be so in such turmoil from losing the people that you care about. You know?
Yeah.
And so, fuck, man, navigating that whole thing. I did a thing where maybe 2 years ago, actually, I was thinking about deleting Instagram, but I knew internally that was running away from the problem, because the problem is not Instagram. The problem is with how I use Instagram.
Yeah.
And so instead of doing that, this was in the era of like the whole dopamine detox thing, whereas like it was such a, I guess, like an elitist thing to be like, oh, I don't have any social media apps on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason I knew internally that you're essentially running away from the problem if you do that.
Yeah.
It's not. This is an idea I've been playing around with, is that it's a quote actually, but the difference between a tool and a weapon is the user.
Mm.
And that's the thing. So
Yeah.
I was thinking about Instagram. It's not it's become a weapon of self-harm for myself with the way I use it. So instead of deleting it,
Yeah.
I went and just turned off all my notifications. And the first thing that I noticed is that every time I felt uncomfortable, I would reach for my phone and open Instagram. But I had no notification to prime me for it. And that just really opened my mind to the fact that, one, I didn't realize what was triggering me to be uncomfortable. And two, I didn't realize how I basically abandoned myself throughout the day with those feelings. And meditation really taught me that if just like a parent, if a parent made time to sit down with a child and ask them how they're feeling, that child would feel so much better. In the same way, if we consciously decide to sit down with our subconscious thoughts and examine them without any shame or guilt, it's just like how a child would feel. They feel so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
Is essentially what I found.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's yeah, that's a cool saying, that a tool and a weapon depends on the user.
On the user.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
So
if I gave you a scalpel
Yeah.
and I asked you to perform a surgery on someone, that is a massive difference between giving it to a surgeon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I could use a spanner, like a tool. Like, use a spanner as a weapon, you know, like defend yourself. You throw that shit at them, like,
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
as well.
yeah. But I can't wait to. And you know this, I can't wait to be a father. I can't wait to do that. Like, I think that's what we're all preparing for. I think it is a big part of the thought process when you make decisions as you get older. So, yeah, I can't wait for that. I always tell everyone, I'm like, I'll have a kid tomorrow. It's like, no, you're not ready for that, like financially or anything. But I think mentally, I'll be ready. But
Yeah, I think totally mentally you'd be ready.
yeah,
And even let's say it did happen.
yeah, it won't happen. Don't worry. It won't happen. I thought that's.
I'll be stay safe out there, bro.
Yeah. This is the message. Stay safe out there. All right? Wear protection. All right. Here we go. Yeah.
Do you wanna show?
Yeah,
Do you wanna show them how to do it, bro?
Start like fucking.
Turn
a
it to
demonstration.
fucking.
It's like no. Yeah.
No,
But. Can't. Yep. Moving on.
Yeah, dude.
How do I?
We
Wait,
gotta
question.
take
How
this
do I
seriously.
how do I tighten this up so it doesn't? Because it's like.
Let's try and get this. I think if you turn it, so there's this screw here that like, is it going like this?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, I
like
see that.
flopping,
It's
yeah.
that there. I think that should be sweet.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I hope. But yeah, it's this part here that needs to be tightened.
Okay. Nah, cool.
How long has it been? I can't see how long it's been recording. Oh, that was 1 hour.
That's 1 hour.
I felt it.
That's cool.
Oh, dude, look at the fucking
The colors.
The colors look
Yeah,
so sick.
that does look nice.
Actually looks really nice, eh?
Yeah. It's like purpley and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I guess This is a mean set, actually. It'd be crazy if I had like the fairy lights going on as well.
Oh
Like,
yeah, at the
that
nighttime
would
and
be
stuff.
mad. Yeah, yeah.
That'd be nice.
What else is on your mind?
Ooh, what's else on my mind? My mind's always racing. It's always. I've had this thought of like it's the same thing I was talking about before, but it's kind of like, it's not that I want everything now.
Mm-hmm.
It's that I'm scared of being stagnant. I'm scared of not making any progress, because I know that, like, I know I'm 21 and I know that I've got so much time, like, that's what they always say. You got so much time. You're so young. Blah 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 blah.
That's the Gary V.
Yeah.
message,
You
know that guy?
Yeah, I know that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
I love him. I love him.
Yeah.
But like, I am young, yes, but I might as well make all these mistakes in pursuit to these goals and everything like that. And I think majority of my mistakes have come from pursuit of goals. To be honest, majority of my mistakes haven't been
What kind of goals?
my boxing. I made a lot of mistakes in my boxing.
Yeah.
But an example of, like, in comparison, someone else's mistakes might be consuming too much drugs, or being an alcoholic, or doing something and following the crowd where or sleeping with a chick that they're not really connected to, and they have a kid. There's things like that where it's like, okay, you made a mistake, blah blah blah, but I tended to avoid those mistakes and tended to make mistakes losing a boxing match in pursuit of being a boxer. Tended to someone commenting that I won't be able to motivate and inspire the world because they don't think I can speak well, or things like that. It's like, those aren't really fails to me. Like, I think it's, and also, like, that's a question. I think it determines on what the question I'm going to ask is. What is failure to you in your life? Because it definitely depends on how you interpret it.
You mean, what is the definition of failure for me?
For you, yeah. However you want to explain it.
This is difficult, because the first thing that popped in my mind was when I give up. But there have been... This is another theme from Stephen Bartlett's book. Giving up is probably the smartest thing I've done in certain scenarios. And first it was with quitting my career as a professional chef.
Yeah.
Because I saw, from seeing what I was aspiring to be, a Michelin star chef, seeing the guys who went and did that come back to New Zealand with their chefing skills and tell me the stories about what that's like. I'll tell you, most of the chefs that I work with, they're either married with kids and that's all they can do to provide for their family, and they don't like it and they don't feel like they have a choice to move on, or they're single and they are heavy drug users, or another archetype is that they're just batshit crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't fall into one of those categories.
You didn't want to fall into any of this category.
I didn't want to either.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I had to get out of there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And it happened as soon as I finished my apprenticeship. But at the same time, I felt like, wow, did I just waste 3-4 years of my life on this? And then the next one was when I was working at aviation security, my job straight after that. I found the same thing. It's not that within aviation security, it's a high-paying job for a low-skill requirement. So the base rate is $32 an hour, but all you need is a driver's license. And, that's like a mid-manager role. Like the level of pay is like a mid-manager role. And you'd never get with that with any other field of work in an entry level.
Okay.
And so what happened is that people are attracted to that, and because of that, they stay in the job, and they end up putting on a mortgage, and from that mortgage, they are essentially trapped in doing this. And it's shift work, which is extremely carcinogenic. Now that we know how important sleep is. And so again, that's something that I quit because I was getting less than 4 hours of sleep a night because of it. It was for a long time, man. I screwed myself up, and
Yeah.
I am glad. That's another thing, that a career that I failed at, that I gave up, and even recently, working full time, going back to chefing, giving up that to pursue a YouTube channel, the one I had before of animal rights activism, that didn't really gain any traction, even though I thought I had such a unique and fresh approach to it. I gave up on it because I felt life game design, although I'm still really passionate about animal rights, life game design is something that I literally can't explain it. I feel like I have to bring this into the world.
Yeah.
Half because I want to help the kid I was 5 years ago, but another half is that, man, how do I explain this? I just feel the need to do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's almost like such a basic primal urge. I just need to do this. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Yeah. That's exactly
Yeah.
how I'm thinking, similar to you, is that like we've got no choice in this. Like
That's
wasn't
it.
like
There's no
we didn't
choice.
decide this. This sort of just like everything was put into place for us to do this. Like it
Totally,
was sort
man.
of like, you could call it luck, you could call it situational and stuff, but we had jobs we didn't like, we did things that we didn't think maybe didn't fit us right. Then we changed direction, we went to a different place, and now we're here, and now we're pursuing this. So yeah, I've got something else to talk about after you're finished.
No, I was thinking, I didn't really define failure. So
Yes,
honestly,
yeah,
I can't. Yeah, the first thing that popped into my mind, like I said, is when you give up. But for me, giving up has been the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I guess if I wanted to frame failure and tie it into the parent-child relationship, it's when you fail to be there for your inner child, and when you fail to let them express themselves how they want to be expressed.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is that, especially socially, when we grow up and, you see the kids in the supermarket making a big fuss and yelling and all that stuff, and as parents we tell them, be quiet, be respectful, blah blah blah. There's times where that helps, right? But there are times where that same mentality will ruin that child and not let them express who they are because they don't feel like it's right to do. For me, that's been just approaching people at the gym and just like making friends at the gym.
Yeah.
What started happening, especially when I thought about this frame, is that the thought would come up like, oh, that guy looks really interesting, I should say hi or something. And then I guess the programming of my conscious mind to my subconscious thought was like, no, that's stupid. He's going to think you're weird. Like, why would you do that? But now, honestly, the friends that I've made at the gym back in Auckland and now over here just very recently have been the best connections that I made, just because I didn't push down the thoughts that I had subconsciously.
Yeah.
So, I guess now I can see that failure is suppressing who you truly are.
Yeah.
And what I actually mean by who you truly are is who that inner child in you is.
Yeah.
Who feels before thinking and just does what they intrinsically are attracted to.
Yeah.
I feel like that's failure. What is
Yeah.
it for you?
Yeah. Well, I think when I think failure to me is when you know your core desires, your core abilities, who you are under everything, under your appearance, under your emotions, under everything, who you believe you really are. And that when you have that knowledge, so once you do figure out who you are, who you want to be or whatever, and when you're on pursuit so it doesn't matter whether you decide to give up on a journey towards something. If that journey towards something was in line with your core and everything and your desires and everything, and and you give up on. It's not the fact that you give up on the sport or the journey. It's the fact that you give up on pursuing your core.
Yeah.
Or, pursuing similar to basically what you said is basically just like disregarding who you really are. And when you disregard who you truly are and what you're capable of doing, that's failing to a certain extent. Because like, who knows? Like in 10 years, I could get to the point B that I want to.
Yeah.
And desire to be, but it's not even about that. I'm doing something that is in my core values and everything like that. So whether it was making it in boxing and motivating, inspiring the world like that, because it always was to inspire people. My pursuit in boxing was to inspire people, and then now I've changed course to something where I can still do the same thing. So I technically haven't
You haven't changed at
failed.
all.
Yeah,
It's just
haven't
the
changed at all.
medium.
Exactly. And
It's just the medium.
it wasn't a waste of time either. And it's like the
No.
question where you were like, was the chefing a waste of time? It was not a waste of time. And you realize now that you've learned so many skills from there that you put into everything else. And I've learned so many skills from boxing that I've put into everything else. So yeah. Yep. I've got another topic when you're ready.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah.
I was thinking of wrapping up soon just because of the
The lighting?
lighting probably.
Yeah.
Because I think that's about all we're gonna get.
Okay.
It doesn't look too bad, but it is like you can notice like it's quite blurry.
Cool. No, that's all right. Should we do one more topic?
Yeah, we could do one more topic. We'll see if it fits in.
Okay. The topic was.
Clap.
Oh my gosh, I had it in my head.
Oh no.
I had it in my head when we were talking, and then I was like, okay, it's gonna be the next thing, and damn, this is gonna kill me because we're gonna end it, and then I'm not gonna and then I'm like, oh, that was it.
In the car.
Yeah,
You're
in
gonna
the
text
car.
me?
I'm gonna tell you what the topic was when I'm driving the car.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about, I guess, the idea of failure, and from there.
Nah, I'm gonna leave it.
Leave it?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. If it was really important, I would have remembered it. So
True. I think
I think that was good
We're
anyway.
scraping anyway.
Yeah.
That's been good, man. I wanted to end. This is a question I was thinking about asking you. I was trying to figure out how to frame it. Anyways, what is a big or small way that you could design your life to be a little bit more fulfilling?
Like to add something extra or to take away something away?
It could be anything.
Okay.
Whatever would make it fulfilling to you.
What would make it more fulfilling? At the moment, my life feels pretty fulfilling. Who knows what more fulfilling feels like?
Yeah.
But I feel fulfilled right now. I feel progress. I feel traction. I feel movement.
Yeah.
So I feel fulfilled. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's right
You're
here.
already there.
We're right here,
You're
right
right
now.
here.
We're
Yeah.
fulfilled. Like
Yeah.
we don't give me personally, I don't give a damn whether it succeeds or not. But I'm here right now in pursuit of something, which this adds to that. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I'm pretty fulfilled right now. You know, like one thing I think I remember the topic. It's something like the people around you, because I never realized, and I'm sorry to drag this on.
No, you're good.
I never realized how important it was to have the right people around you, especially like recently, like, because I was like, okay, how do I improve in all these areas at the same time at a faster rate? And I said to myself, I said, like, who are my friends? And I look at them, and they have great skills at a lot of different areas in their life.
Yeah.
And it's not like to use them. It's to bring to light what they're good at and encourage them to then pursue it, maybe in the similar ways that I'm pursuing my things, my ambitions and everything. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, can you help me design for the clothing that I want to make? Because he's a cartoonist. Well, he's not a cartoonist, but he's really good at drawing, at cartoons and everything. And I know he's good at art. And I was like, I'll pay you for it. And he's like, no, I'll do it for free. And I was like, no, I will pay you for it. Because what I'm trying to encourage is the fact that all my friends can make money from stuff that they love doing, but they just have to put the first foot forward and stop thinking about it. And yeah. But anyway, like, if I wanted to improve fast at my physical health and my physical goals, I have Camilla, and she has helped me out so much. But we help each other because she has extra money in her account at the end of the week, so that helps her with stresses and whatever she needs to use it for. And then she helps me with getting to my goal in that. And that's...
She meal preps for you, right?
She meal preps for me, yeah. She makes all my meals. And I don't have to shop. I don't have to think about what I have to eat. I just eat whatever I'm given. And I'm very grateful for that. So there's things like that where I know I wouldn't be able to juggle my physical goals and focus on the content and focus on the boxing gym and this and work and this and this. But you can do it if you have the right people around you. But then not only that, when you have the right people around you, it's like you have a team. It's like you have a team where you guys are helping each other in whatever areas you can help each other in. Someone might be good at photography. Someone might be good at content creation. And then someone might be good at brainstorming. And you're like, okay, you're good at that. I can pay you for that. And you can do it because you want to help me. And you get money out of it. So it's like we're helping each other.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big fulfillment feeling when I was thinking that there are a lot of skillful people around me, and it's not to use them, it's to show them that they can do something with it if they want to. So we're sort of just using all our skills together to like skyrocket. That's the goal. That's the goal.
That's the whole community mentality, man.
Yeah,
and I think that's raising each other up.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to wrap it up, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers for the podcast, bro.
We gotta do a hug. That's your
like I said, yeah, bro. Tradition, man.
I remember. My boy. Yo. Good to see you again. I appreciate you.
Good.
Thank you for take 2.
This was sick. This was sick, bro.
Yeah.
I would have kept going if the lighting was good, but
It looks very blurry at the moment.
That's all good.
No, we good.
And the last part was kind of like reaching anyway, because in my head it was a good